thing is, all habits can be mindful. If you just pay attention.
Yeah, I like that. Let's end there.
Yeah. Next.
And we're back. Teachers Roundtable, Part 2.
Trying to make me really get into a vulnerable space here. I admit I may or may not sit down and watch Real Housewives of the Potomac.
Wait, say that again?
Real Housewives of the Potomac?
Okay.
I didn't know there.
Real Housewives of the Potomac.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am obsessed with Schitt's Creek. And so I wouldn't say like I'm mindlessly watching it, but it's definitely my like go-to if I want to like feel like I'm doing nothing and just chilling, really. Yeah.
But do we think this is like unmindful to watch TV and to enjoy it? Because I see it
I
as
think it's the content, maybe. That's the thing, right? It's like, is it? Am I sitting here judging what I'm watching? Right? Because it can be like mindless. It got to a point where it was just ridiculous, you know? Like,
Yeah.
But that's a moment where you're being really mindful. You're like, what effect is this show having on me? You know, like I've watched shows where I start having bad dreams or I obsess about what's going on with these characters or, you know, and then you back off.
Maybe like the theme is like, how do you escape maybe from like your responsibilities? I'm like thinking YouTube, I think, is like my thing where I just love to research things. So if someone tells me like, oh, I watched this thing, I'm like on YouTube, like looking up things, like how do hippos run in the water? Like different, I don't know, like
Beautiful.
I'll just get sucked into YouTube.
Below deck.
I think I play a lot of board games and I get very competitive. I also go to trivia probably twice a week now. And if we're not winning or if there's like conflict in my trivia group about if we should double down or not, I know it sounds so trivial, no pun intended, but yeah, it is, I get like really angry and really attached to winning. And it feels like an outlet for me, you know, like this is my only time to be competitive.
JP can, you know the game where you like write on your forehead?
Oh, yeah.
And he just couldn't get it. And I was like, what's wrong with you? And he was just like, babe, it's a game. I was like, you don't understand.
Relationships will definitely take you to that space of, you know, not wanting to be mindful, you know, or what I experience sometimes is my wife or myself, my wife is also a researcher, a mindfulness researcher. If you're having a disagreement and I bring mindfulness into the space, or vice versa, do not talk about no mindfulness with me. Or, you know, I'm not going to put it on her. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, I really don't feel like being present right now. You know?
I've found myself like saying to my husband, especially, I'm angry and I need you to know I'm angry. It's a little bit like I could go away and take longer to collect myself and let the anger dissipate. But I make the decision in that moment that like the anger tone is actually important. And it's an important part of what I'm trying to communicate.
And that's where I've had problems in my relationships, where I will hold it in. And then in those moments where there is tension or there's disagreements or pain, it can come out in just, you know, like daggers. And so now I just try and actually like the 3-year-old, I'm like, I'm going to have a tantrum and I'm going to scream and run about and stamp my feet because I need to like get that energy out and just try and be a bit more like, this is why I'm doing this. Like the other day I said to my husband, I'm just in a really bad mood. I was like, I need you to know I'm in a bad mood. It's not with you. Honestly, I don't know who is it with. But he was like, thank you for telling me that, because often in the past, I'd be in a bad mood and I wouldn't tell him. And then he would annoy me because I was in a bad mood. And then we'd end up fighting. And so he's like, just if you're not like, and now we're getting into this better habit of I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling annoyed, I'm pissed off, whatever it is. Be the 3-year-old for 20 minutes, whatever, a day if you need it.
Parenting. That is something that my practice has helped tremendously, but I still find myself like, because you want them to behave this way because you know it's for their own good, but they want to do the complete opposite. And then when you have a 16-year-old that does the complete opposite on purpose, let me take a breath right now. Like,
And luckily with meditation, just like one deep breath can change everything. Like everything. It can
Taking a deep breath
transform.
now.
Yeah. It can transform so much.
really?
Like there's been moments, even I was sharing with Kessonga on the way here, I had a friend who, a dear friend that I love, decide to like end our friendship because I teach meditation and mindfulness now. And she had messaged me during the retreat. And the initial like shock and like coldness in my heart was there. And I was so quick to write her back to be like, what are you talking about? Like, doesn't make any sense, you know? But I was just like, you know what? I love you and I'm rooting for you and your freedom, whatever that looks like for you in this season of your life. And I just like let it go. But I took the time to reflect on like, wow, because past Dora would have been like, look at this self-righteous person that, you know, thinks they are above this. But I was just able to meet that with like compassion, acceptance, deep breaths, multiple deep breaths, and like move through it and still honor how I was feeling, like hurt, betrayed, sad, you know, but yeah, it just didn't stick with me. Like I'm able to laugh about it now where before I would have been like mad, you know?
You just made me think of this time in my life where I didn't realize I was doing it or that I held this belief, but I was holding other people responsible for my feelings in relationship. So I would expect to be soothed, or I would expect them to help me, you know, problem solve my emotions or my state. And I had this insight, like a voice that came to me that said, like, you are absolutely responsible for your feelings, and you are strong enough to take responsibility for them, and no one else is responsible for them. And it was this turning point in my life where all my relationships got freed up because they were no longer bound by this expectation that they had to be anything to me or anyone in particular, that they were free to be who they are and to, you know, not take care of me. And I also felt and trusted that inner strength and that inner knowing that I could be with and regulate my feelings as needed.
Gosh, I have very, very like vivid, you know, memories of pre-meditation because, God, yeah, I mean, I talked about, you know, anxiety being something that I've struggled with for years. But I was just like a big ball of reactivity. You know, the game or like the toy that you would wind up and it would like flash out of the thing. I was like, Jack in the Box. Oh my God, sorry.
We got there.
You got me. I was just like that all the time. And I was just like a rabbit in headlights and couldn't see the wood from the trees. I was so consumed by worry, but I'm now so much more aware that it's there. And I'm like, it's so okay for it to be there.
I mean, there was a point growing up in New York where I was just like fighting, like literally fighting every day. And it became like just part of my life. Like, this is what I do after school. You know, I might get into a tussle. And so even going through college, I wasn't fighting in college, but I still carried that. I don't even know what you would call it. You know, just, you know, I call it like a chip on my shoulder. Like that New York chip on my, you know, the New York chip on my shoulder. Like, wow, I have to face and deal with this chip on my shoulder. So, yeah, so the before Kessonga versus the now Kessonga, I'm just fully aware. I still carry a little pocket of the Bronx right here.
What's going to happen?
But really, I'm just fully aware of my emotions and how intense they can be, or how intense I'm allowing them to rise or not. Yeah, now with practice, we're all enlightened and we levitate every day.
Let's do it now.
Yeah.
I'm levitating already.